Living a healthy lifestyle is not simple. Learning how to modify your behavior, while challenging, will help you to choose health behaviors over risk behaviors. Yes, habits can be changed with a bit of time and effort to make way for health behaviors. So, what are habits? Aristotle says we are what we repeatedly do. Our minds learn to use familiar cues to carry out automatic behavior that worked successfully in the past. Habits are triggered by familiar environmental cues. An example of a habit can be automatically buckling your seatbelt, which is triggered by getting into a vehicle. Because you do not need to think about habits, they allow our brains to perform other tasks that are more difficult and require attention. With work, we can deliberately change habits. However, during times of stress, we are likely to turn to and rely on old habits. Changing or breaking habits can help individuals to make positive changes. Breaking a habit typically does not happen by accident. A deliberate attempt is required. To increase success, one should identify situational cues or stressful experiences that trigger behavior. Repeat the new behavior. Repetition is critical to help you replace the old habit. Consciously prepare to eliminate risk behaviors or adopt health behaviors. And realize that excessive stress often triggers old habits. Behavior change is a process that takes time. Sustainable change occurs when people move through several stages of change. The trans-theoretical model, also called the stages of change model, developed by Prochaska and DeClement in the late 1970s, evolved through studies examining the experiences of smokers who quit on their own, with those requiring further treatment to understand why some people were capable of quitting on their own. It was determined that people quit smoking only when they are ready to do so. Thus, the stages of change model focuses on the decision-making of the individual and is a model of intentional change, and operates on the assumption that people do not change behaviors quickly and decisively. Rather, change in behavior, especially habitual behavior, occurs continuously through a cyclical process. Individuals move through these 5 stages to make successful change: pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. There is a final stage called termination, which occurs when the individual is at no risk of relapse stage. The trans-theoretical model has been used extensively to help identify an individual's stage of change in order for health educators to design appropriate interventions. The trans-theoretical model pulls from other behavior change models to move individuals through the stages. In the pre-contemplation stage, people do not intend to take action in the foreseeable future, which is defined as within the next 6 months. People are often unaware that their behavior is problematic or produces negative consequences. People in this stage often underestimate the benefits of changing behavior and place too much emphasis on the sacrifices of changing behavior. Without planned intervention, individuals often remain stuck in the early stages. It is important to note that pushing an individual into action before they are ready can lead to a failed attempt. Decisional balance is a great tool to help individuals weigh the benefits and costs, or perceived benefits and perceived barriers, of adopting a health behavior. Generally, the benefits of the health behavior rank low in the early stages and increase as the individual moves through the stages of change. Conversely, the costs are high in the early stages and decrease in the later stages of change. This is a decisional balance grid to help individuals identify and weigh the pros and cons of making a behavior change. Somebody who is considering adding physical activity into their regular routine may record the benefits and costs to making the behavior change. Under the benefits to making a change, the individual can record things like I will look better, I will sleep better, and exercise will help to manage my stress. Under the benefits to not changing, one may list things like I will have more time to watch TV and I will save money by not joining the gym. In the costs to making a change category, some of the following may be listed. I have to buy new clothes, new shoes, and new equipment, or I could get injured. And finally, in the cost to not changing category, some justifications could be I may gain weight, I may feel embarrassed about how I look, and not exercising will have a negative effect on my health and longevity. Then the person could weigh the pros and cons and circle or highlight those that are most important. This exercise may help an individual to progress to the next stage of change. In the contemplation stage, people are intending to start the health behavior in the foreseeable future, defined as within the next 6 months. People recognize that their behavior may be problematic, and a more thoughtful and practical consideration of the pros and cons of changing the behavior takes place, with equal emphasis placed on both. Even with this recognition, people may still feel ambivalent about changing their behavior. In the preparation stage, people are ready to take action within the next 30 days. People start to take small steps toward the behavior change, and they believe changing their behavior can lead to a healthier life. Let's take 10 minutes to refresh, maybe a walk or just stepping away. We will pick up with the remaining stages of change.